Welcome to our demonstration of SMB HR, part of the Digital Workplace Solution modules provided by SP Marketplace on Office 365 and Sharepoint. At SP Marketplace, we transform Office 365 from a base platform of different services and tools with Sharepoint to an integrated digital workplace leveraging Office 365 and SharePoint to deliver an operational portal structure to make it easier to do business in your organization. And we find that makes employees much more productive and happy, and the whole organization much more effective. We've built a set of solutions on top of Office 365 and SharePoint that allow you to transform it from a set of individual services and pieces and parts into an overall portal structure that can drive your business, collaboration, and communication. We've built these on top of SharePoint Online. These are no-code solutions and are 100% customizable by Power Business users. It becomes a natural part of the Office 365 user experience, giving it context and structure to have your organization operate in. And it provides anywhere, anytime, on any device, accessibility and support in a common user interface for your employees. In this video, we'll be taking a look at our HR product. Our HR product really provides a next-generation workplace application that is the next step when we take a look at automating HR processes and empowering employees with self-service. The HR product is built on our department portal, which allows you to provide both a staff portal where staff can operate in a secure, confidential environment to manage all aspects of HR, both processes, collaboration, documents, and other things. It also provides a way for self-service for employees through a My HR Employee portal. So employees can go in and be able to not only answer their own questions through a knowledge base and frequently asked questions, but also see HR news, events, announcements, and also request services from HR in a built-in help desk or service request system. So in essence, what we've done is taken and merged automation of process with management of documents and collaboration and communication, all driven through a self-service model. The features of our HR product is, number one at the core is to manage employee data, both records and documents, also tracking things like compliance and certification with reminders, employee change, both employee change in the records or management changes such as salary changes, promotions, and those type of things, as well as administering benefits. Second, it also provides a staff portal where the HR team can collaborate on things. They can have HR staff news, manage documents and have reference documents, have task tracking, a shared team calendar, discussions, and meetings, all managed through the staff portal. We also provide process automation over time-consuming processes that often have lots of paper, lots of time, lots of redundant data entry. So we provide a hiring module, which allows you to track applicants and candidates through the hiring process. Once they get through the hiring process, we have an onboarding capability and feature where you can actually have an onboarding checklist to make sure that the right things get done to get your employees up to speed quickly. We also provide administration of performance reviews as well as developing policies and procedures and then making them available to employees. And then one of the most important parts and time-saving parts is employee self-service through the My HR Employee portal. Here, there is actually a built-in help desk that employees can request services from HR and you can track them and assign them. Frequently asked questions, a knowledge base so that they can answer their own questions, and also a doc center so that they can access relevant documents from HR, as well as HR news and events. So as a total solution, it really provides the capability to not only take your HR automation to the next level, but also to drive collaboration, organization, and self-service from your employees. And the benefits really are across the board. Because you're now keeping track of employee data and employee information and certifications and all the things around employee records, you lower the risk of having any employees come back with liabilities or other suits or legal type of actions. You also save time because employees spend less time asking you questions, calling you, looking for things because they have an employee portal. Also, because you're streamlining different processes, you're spending more time actually working with employees rather than managing paper and step-by-step processes. We empower employees themselves so that they can get better service by accessing the things that they need in their employee portal, and we streamline and automate processes that are usually very time-consuming, both in the hiring and in the overall management of employee activities, all during their life cycle of employment. So let's take a moment and see how this works in an online demonstration. In the first part of our demonstration, my role is as an employee going to get services from HR. Now, if you have our intranet package, you can also link to it from here. This is obviously where employees can go in and get caught up on news, announcements, all of the different things that an intranet have. You can actually take a look at more detail on our intranet package on our video site as well. But let's go now visit HR. When I go there, it brings me to the employee portal. This is called the My HR portal. Here I can see everything that's going on in HR. I can see announcements. Looks like we have to, I better get enrolled in my benefits. There's a new wellness program. I see events that HR is putting on. There's new manager training, new employee orientation. Department news, looks like they're talking about our new self-service intranet. And I can also see my service requests here too. I also have access to submit a new service request, update my employee records, say with new addresses or telephone numbers. I can look at useful documents out here and even answer my own questions with a knowledge base. So at this point, I think I'm going to put in a service request because my wife just had a baby and I'm not sure exactly what I have to fill out, and I didn't see it in the knowledge base. Now, I can also do this, by the way, from my cell phone or any mobile device as well, because it does support full mobile. So I'm going to go in there and say, had a baby, what do I do now? Pretty simple. I can also go in here and if I were putting this in for, say, if I was a manager putting it in for somebody that did not have an Office 365 ID, they can submit it for other people as well. The request category here is benefits for me. And I'll just go in and say, just had a baby, what forms do I need to fill out? Okay, and also the nice thing is if I even knew what forms here that I needed to do, I could just attach those and actually submit them through here too, after downloading them from the useful documents library here, or I could just hit attachments here. But I'm just going to go ahead and save this. So now, after saving that, I also could go in and, for instance, look up any documents that I might need, see if there's any forms. Here's forms here. I can even look up any attendance guidelines or even HR policies right here. This is basically a library that HR has presented out on the portal for employees to really look up their own information. Also in the HR portal, I could also update my employee records at any time. So for instance, if I wanted to change my marital status, personal email, any emergency contact information, phones, address information, I could do that right here as well. And it would go into the HR staff for them just to review and then update the records as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel this and go back to the HR portal. So in essence, the great thing is I don't have to go play telephone tag or email tag to know if they got my information. I can go look at my email and get a confirmation that my service request was in. I can see right from here when it has been assigned, when it has been closed, And as well, I get emails when it has been closed and any notification. It's all built in to this. So now let's go ahead and change roles, and I'll now see what it's like from the HR side. So here I am back at the intranet, and now watch as I am part of the HR staff now. When I hit the HR portal and go to that, it takes me to a different portal. It actually takes me to the staff portal. That's because there's a redirect at the top of this site, and it knows who should be in the staff portal, which is the confidential side, and who should be really in the employee portal. Again, all based on information in SharePoint and Office 365 permission groups. So in this case, now we see with the staff portal that there's many more things here. First of all, I can see that there is the service request here. If somebody does call in, I can actually put in a service request for them. There is announcements that is actually announcements for the staff. I can talk to any of my coworkers here just by hovering over them. We have links right to the HR Planner, HR OneDrive, and HR Team and Group right here. So that way I don't have to be going into this mass quantity of icons and then try to go find HR. All the relevant links are right here. And that's what we call putting Office 365 into the context of how people are working. There is internal news here for the staff. We have our own staff calendar. Looks like we have our team potluck in June. And then we have a list of a couple of things here that need to call to our attention. Unassigned service requests here. Looks like somebody just put one in. Oh, Daryl Trimble looks like they had another baby. That's actually his sixth. And then also record updates from managers. So it looks like somebody's getting a promotion. It looks like Tom Franz is getting a promotion here, and that probably needs to be approved. We have links right here that I can get to different sites that we use every day. And then over on the left-hand side, we can see a menu structure. And I'll bet you if you saw a demo with the employees, you saw that this was a very short menu structure, but our menu structure or navigation changes dynamically with who is coming in here. So now I can take a look at things like department resources, all service requests. We can change the portal content. This is where you put in new news items or announcements, both on the staff or the employee portal page. We can update that knowledge base. We have a list of contacts that the HR department uses. It could be outsourced vendors we use or whatever it might be. We have an HR policies library where we keep and develop policies, as well as a forms template library that we use. And these, when they're published, go out to the employee useful docs in the employee portal too. So it's really not just a place to share and collaborate like a team site, but it actually is a place where you can actually organize things, as well as we'll see actually get into business processes. We have a full set of employee management here. So I can manage employee records. I can see any record updates or employee changes, like address changes or something. I can look across all employee documents and search those. And those are actually cross-referenced with employee records. I can track certifications for safety certifications or CPR, anything related to compliance with employees. We can take a look at benefit plans and which benefit plans employees are on, as well as see different performance reviews and automate that process as well. You're going to see other areas like hiring and onboarding that is part of this, and then we have some of our staff collaboration things, even in my workspace area here, which we'll take a look at in just a minute. So it's really designed to be a portal that the HR team can really work together in to organize, to automate, and to manage HR. So first of all, let's take a look at something you saw earlier, which is a service request. This is a built-in help desk, and so no longer do employees need to call us at all times during the day and ask us questions, because they have this employee self-service portal. And so we can do things like, for instance, I could go in and I see this new, had a baby, what do I do now? And I actually, in my email, got an email letting me know that this came in. And I could go in and edit this. And I can assign this to one of our HR team here and actually track the service request as part of this. too. So here, all of a sudden, you can see that I've got a lot of things that I can do here. Our forms are even dynamic by the role. So the employee gets a nice, easy form with not a lot on it, but we can go in here and actually do what we need to do. So this is actually a question. I'm going to assign this to Tom in our department here, and I'm going to put in a work log that says, make sure you use 2019 forms. In January, Tom sent out a bunch of forms, and they were the 2018 forms to an employee. So that was a little bit embarrassing. So this is kind of a joke here. So he'll see this in the work log, and we can even assign tasks out. There is a task list as well, and that would also be, for instance, if we had to order new forms or something related to this, but we didn't want to assign the ticket, this is where we would do this, and it would actually show up in the overall team task list here too, cross-referenced. So there we go, and I'm going to go ahead and save this, and what will happen is Tom then gets a email out there. Now the other thing too is I can look across all my service requests. I could go in, and there is actually where I can see the different ones here. I can look across them. I can filter them. I can even look in different views here. So I could look at, how many requests we've had by month or request by status here as well. So it's got a full set of views, or what a lot of people in the old style applications call reports. I could even go in and set up notifications and reminders in here using Flow, or also create new views at any time and change these views. So it gives me a full capability to manage service requests, and it has the full notifications behind it for both the people assigned and the original requesters. What's even really cool is if I wanted to talk to Tom, all I've got to do is hover over him, and it turns on Skype for Business. I can text him. I could even talk to Daryl, the guy that submitted the service request, and talk to him live and ask any additional questions too. So that's the help desk side of this. There is also a dashboard and some other things too. But let's go back and look at really what the core of the application is here. And I'm going to go back to the main page here, and I'm going to go to employee records. And this is where you keep your information on your employees. And again, I can filter, I can look for, I can do a search at any time, just like actually I can do this with service requests or anything there. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Donna here. She's one of our employees, and I can open this up and take a look at it. Now the cool thing is we have something called a super view. And a super view means that I can go look at all of Donna's information here and look across everything related to Donna. So I could look up here all of her base information, and by the way, you can change any field you want. You can add any field you want. If I wanted again to talk to Donna here, I could do that just by hovering over her, and it would pop up the ability to chat and so on. So basic information here, again, you've got HR notes, and they're all date and time stamped here so that you have a full log of what's going on and history. Her payroll and bonus information, any education or awards that she's gotten. Here's a cross-reference to her performance reviews. I can see the next one's due in March. Looks like actually it's might be overdue. We'd probably have if I were to go to overdue reviews, I'd see that. And this is her last review that I can open up right here. It cross-references with this. This is a electronic document form. Any of her employee documents that are in the employee docs library, it also cross-references, so I can see everything here for Donna. I can see what benefit plans she's on as well. I can see any certifications that she needs to make sure she renews here, and also any record updates. So it could be that she added, for instance, a new personal email here, and manager changes. And by the way, these automatically get applied after the HR person just looks at it, reviews it, and then can apply it to this employee record. But this is nice because we have actually an audit log of all changes that were made here as well, too. So that's the employee record side of it, kind of everything from the employee perspective here. But we also can go in at any time and see across any of these. So if I want to see all record updates that were put in across all employees, I can do this. Looks like we haven't got a whole lot of them here. Any employee changes here too would be by managers, for instance. And by the way, managers, when they're in that employee portal, have other things that they can do. They can go in and do any changes. They can put in performance reviews. They can make job requisitions, see any applicants related to their requisitions and any candidates. And again, they do this from the employee portal, but this dynamically shows up when a manager is in the employee portal. But we can go take a look at, here's salary changes. This was in here. And so, again, we have the date that it was done, and we can see any information related to this. And this was submitted, it looks like, by her manager out there. Now, we also have approvals. You can see this approval tab here, and this will actually go in and automatically send an email to the approver. I was the approver there, it looks like. And then you can pick and choose what changes are going to be made, any salary changes, promotions, those type of thing as well. And we can see if it's been approved. And it looks like I did approve that. Now, I can only see this, the approver, and nobody else can see these as well too. And we can see that it was actually updated as well too. So we can go ahead and update that employee record just by checking this. So that's really what employee updates are all about. We also have other things here that we track for employees. Employee documents. You can just drag and drop documents in here, and you can have them actually align to the employees. You can also go in and pick and choose what type of documents they are. It could be a tax document, I-9 documents, as well. And again, you can look at all documents, or you can look at specific types of documents. And it's just like an Excel spreadsheet. I could go in here and say, look, I just want to look at the documents related to a certain employee, or I could even group by employee and see what documents are out there too. And again, I can search across documents. Other employee information here is certifications. This is really a time saver. If you're in an industry that has safety certifications or healthcare with CPR and other certifications, you can actually go in and track these certifications. And you can see that there's renewal dates. Here you can link them to perhaps a training course out on online or something like that too. And it will send automatic reminders here to both the employee and the manager 30 days ahead of time as well too. Other areas here in employee management is we can look at all the benefits out there. So these are all the benefits that employees are on. So if I wanted to again see something that Daryl is on, I can say I just want to see it for Daryl Trimble. And I can also go in and track how many dependents, what plan they've selected, what state they're in, and so on too. So it's really just, it's not the whole enrollment process, but it is administering what employees are on what plans. And then finally, we have performance reviews, and I can see across all performance reviews here, and I could go in and see what they're rated and so on. And it will update, by the way, the employee record where we actually keep the ratings and information about the last performance reviews. These are the actual documents that were put in there for the different performance reviews that were done. And again, it gives reminders on dates when they're due as well. So in essence, what we've done here is we've not only just kept the employee record, but we've actually cross-referenced that record with everything related to the employee here as well. So this is really the employee management side of this. I can also go in, by the way, and at any time start to manage things related to this portal. So in portal content here, this is where I actually can go in and manage our news and announcements here for both the staff portal and the employee portal, and adding news items. And in the news items themselves, I won't go into it deeply here, but you can also check off a box that will push it up to our intranet product and alert that content manager up there for approval if it's something that the entire organization needs to see as well. Another nice thing that is out here too is something that is nice is on my workspace under staff. So if I select that from anywhere, this actually is kind of a everything me. So I can go to my email, my OneDrive, planner, and so on. Again, I don't have to go slogging through the icon land over here. I can see any service requests that are assigned to me as part of the HR team, any recent documents I've been working on, and any tasks that were assigned to me, as well as anybody that has shared documents with me. So the My Workspace really allows me to come right in and work on any of my projects or things that I'm working on as well. There is a shared calendar, documents, links, and task tracking too under the staff here. So overall, I also am able to share in discussions, talk to people here as well. But in addition, we have some automation pieces here. So under hiring, we can see that I can take a look at all job requisitions that were turned in by managers here with the full descriptions and everything else. Let me turn off this here so we can see that. And again, I can see them in many different ways. I can see all open requisitions, those waiting approval. And so job requisitions, for instance, here can be put in by managers or by the HR staff, however you want to do it. And that is what starts the whole hiring process. And we do have an approval attached to this, so you can actually have the approving manager here, but this is where they can go in and put a description of who they want to hire and information like requirements for the job. And then I can actually cross-reference after it's been actually posted and see what applicants have applied for the job. Looks like none so far and no candidates out here as well. But I could see exactly how it's doing by requisition. Now, if we take a look at another area here, applicants, this is where I actually can go in and track the different applicants that come out on here. So if you post a job, say to Indeed or to Monster.com or anything like that, you can actually, there is an optional component that we can set up a web form for you. And we actually use it ourselves, and I'll show you. This is an example of that, but it's an application form that you can put out on your site. And so, for instance, when we at SP Marketplace here advertise for a job, we give them this URL, and they come from the different recruiting sites and fill this out. And you can have it set up in any form that you want. This is actually a service that we do, and they can actually upload their resume, even a cover letter, and so on here too, and say what job they're interested in too. So that is actually how they come in to become an applicant. When a new applicant comes in, it actually sends an email alert to both the HR manager and the hiring manager, and it basically captures the information so you don't have to retype it in from, say, a resume or something like that. It also brings the resume into the resumes library, but we also cross-reference it. So here's an applicant here. We can see address, we can have a skills list which you can search across, and we can cross-reference it with the resume in here as well. And I can just take a look at that just by opening it up, and this will open it up in Office 365 view here of, I think this one's probably a Word document here as well. Oop, let me just go in, there we go. And I can either download it or open it up right here too. So in essence, with the applicants, you actually track them through a process, and you can have different fields added to this. You can have different statuses, but there's a status out there. And once you select the applicant, and this is really a two-stage process. We have applicants, which, there could be 20 applicants for a job. And in most organizations, what they do is they say, look, we're going to take the top 3 that we think, and we're going to put them, make them a candidate. And the candidate is where you interview them and do all that type of stuff. So if it turns into selected here, if you change the form and edit it and change it to selected, it will actually take and copy over the information from the applicant's database into the candidates list here. So if we take a look at this, we see that there are candidates out here. So let's take a look and see if Andrew James is over there. Yep, he's been copied over to the candidates list. And if we take a look at this now, this is where we can actually start to track things, set up interviews, gather feedback, and so on in here. And you can see that you can actually set up process stages for the hiring process as well. And again, this is something that we cross-reference information on. We take different notes in a work log about that, and have everything right there related to candidates. And you can go into calendars in Office 365 and set up different interviews. And you can even bring, if you want, as an optional thing that we can set up, is to link this to the calendar with the interviews, so you can even see that. So this is basically keeping track of that, and the last part of this is the hiring status. And so when you've decided you're going to hire Andrew, which by the way, the manager can also see Andrew through the My Applicants or the My Candidates side of it over here as well, and they can even put notes in there as well too. But the next part of it is what we call onboarding. And onboarding is where you can see Andrew James made it through there, is where we actually then start tracking the different steps that need to be done related to onboarding this employee. And so if I go in and select Andrew James here and take a look at this record, and again, this was automatically copied over. We try to have, as much as possible, no redundant data entry. And so I can see the onboard here. We've got some base onboard tasks, which you set up. You set what you want these to be as part of the setup of the product. And Andrew is actually a solar installer, so part of the service onboard. So I can type in service onboard here, and it will actually automatically show me then the checklist 3, the service onboard checklist that I had set up. And I could go in and make sure that different things are done. I even have the capability to have MS Flow, when I check this one off or this one off, to send an email to, say, our facilities group that says need to set up an office here with the information relating to it. So that's something that you can set up. What we're doing is really providing the checklist, the ability to have a checklist, and you can go in and set up these checklists any way that you want. And it is dynamic too. So if I decided that, for whatever reason, Andrew is a sales onboard, I could go in and say to sales onboard, and we'll see that that checklist dynamically changes to number 2, and then we see the sales onboard components there. I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to mess up the demo here. Since he is a solar installer here too. So onboarding basically keeps track of the tasks and checklists that need to be done. You can also have them send in documents via email and have them captured in the employee documents library as well too. So that overall is kind of the different components of the HR. We covered the full employee management. We had the collaboration and department resources here where we could actually set up news and announcements. We had a manager section here where they could get information related to things that are directly related to them, and they of course get to it from the other portal over there, and it happens to show this dynamically as well. And this is all hooked in with Office 365. It is just part of it, and it's a natural part of this overall portal structure. Here we can see other departments too. So that is our HR product, and it really is something that is easy to use, but also provides a lot of power in enabling self-service and providing automation for different aspects of the HR processes out there, and allows you to hopefully get out of some of the paperwork side of this by bringing in electronic documents and linking those documents to different parts of the process. Thank you for taking the time to look at the HR demonstration. We also have full functional applications as well as department portals for facilities management with work orders and asset tracking, projects, IT staff, as well as generic departments that you can apply to any other type of department with built-in employee portals, staff portals, service requests, and so on, all integrated with the intranet portal structure. You can buy them separately or as part of a package. To see more, go to spmarketplace.com.